If you're hearing this, I need you to listen carefully. Don't pause, don't click away, and for the love of whatever's still out there, don't try to find the site I'm about to tell you about. I don't have long. My laptop's been flickering for the past hour, like something's trying to shut it down remotely. I've disconnected the Wi-Fi, I've yanked out the Ethernet cable, hell, I even pulled the battery out of my phone, but the screen keeps turning itself back on. I can still see the site, even though it shouldn't be running offline. You probably think this is some kind of ARG, or a creepypasta, or just me trying to get clicks at 3 in the morning. I wish it was. I wish I could tell you this was just another scary story, that I was just playing around for content. But it isn't. I'm shaking as I record this, and if you hear my voice break, it's because I keep thinking about what I saw on that last page. I can't tell you everything yet. Not here. Not all at once. That's how it spreads, by showing you too much too soon. But I have to give you enough so you know what to avoid. I found a website that shouldn't exist. That's the simplest way I can say it. It wasn't on the surface web, it wasn't on the dark web, it wasn't even cached by Google. It just appeared. I don't know if it found me, or if I found it. The first time it loaded, I thought it was just some forgotten blog or a glitchy domain squatter's page. But then it started talking back. And not just in pop-ups or DMs, it said my name. Out loud. Look, I'm not crazy. You don't know me, but I need you to believe that. This isn't a prank. This isn't a hallucination. You can probably hear my neighbor's dog barking in the background right now. Yeah, that's real. That's happening. And if what I saw is true, if what that site showed me is real, then in about 6 hours, there won't be a dog barking next door anymore. I keep thinking maybe I shouldn't upload this. Maybe I should just disappear quietly and let someone else be the idiot who clicks the wrong link. But that's what it wants. It wants me to stay quiet. So no, I'm not going to stay quiet. You deserve to know. You deserve to hear how this started, how a stupid late-night browsing session turned into this. I just hope you're not too curious for your own good. It all began last night. No, technically this morning, at exactly 3:04 a.m. You know how everyone jokes that nothing good happens after 3 a.m.? They're wrong. Nothing normal happens after 3 a.m. That's when the internet feels different. It's quieter, emptier, like all the normal people have gone to bed and left the rest of us here with whatever else is awake. I wasn't doing anything exciting. Just me, my laptop, and a bottomless rabbit hole of tabs I didn't even remember opening. YouTube autoplay had dragged me from video essays about cursed cartoons to hour-long compilations of top 10 unexplained broadcast interruptions. My eyes were dry, my tea was cold, and I told myself I'd shut everything down after just one more click. Famous last words, right? That's when I noticed something weird, just small enough to ignore, but strange enough to make my brain itch. My recommended videos suddenly refreshed, all at once, like someone had hit F5 on my feed without me touching anything. The thumbnails looked off, blurry. A few had no titles at all, just black squares with timestamps. I should have shut my laptop right then, closed the lid, gone to bed, pretended none of it ever happened. But 3 a.m. logic isn't real logic. Curiosity always feels like a good idea until it's too late. I clicked one of the black thumbnails, expecting an error page or maybe some cursed ARG thing. Creators love to mess with people like that. But the video that loaded wasn't scary. It wasn't anything really, just static, gray noise, like an old TV left on in an empty room. Then the comments section loaded, and that's what froze me. There weren't thousands of comments like you'd expect. There were only 3. The first one said, "You're early." The second, "Keep watching." And the third one was a string of numbers. At first I thought it was just spam, but then I recognized it. It was my zip code. I sat back from the screen. My first instinct was to laugh it off, because that's what you do when something creeps you out online. You make a joke about it. Tell yourself it's a coincidence. Haha, spooky algorithm. I guess YouTube knows where I live now. But the static kept playing, and when I tried to pause it, my cursor froze. The video didn't stop. I closed the tab, or I tried to. For a second, it was like my mouse wasn't synced with my screen, like there was a half-second delay between what I was doing and what was actually happening. When it finally worked, the tab vanished, but another one opened by itself. This one wasn't YouTube. It was just a blank white page with a single blue hyperlink in the center. No URL in the address bar, no title, nothing. The link text said, "Do you want to see?" No, I didn't want to see. Of course I didn't. But my finger was already moving toward the trackpad. That's when I noticed something else, my reflection in the dark laptop screen. My face looked wrong, pale and warped in the glow, like I'd been sitting there for hours longer than I really had. My stomach twisted. I should have closed the laptop. I should have turned it off, walked away, gone outside, done anything but click. But you already know what I did next. I clicked the link. The moment I clicked, the screen didn't just load, it twitched. I know how stupid that sounds. Screens don't twitch, but mine did. The page blinked into existence like an eye opening, fast and wet and too human. For a second, the entire screen went gray, as if my laptop had been unplugged from reality. And then the link came back, only now it was moving. Not scrolling, not flashing, breathing. The blue letters expanded and contracted like a lung, pulsing so slowly I thought I was imagining it. "Do you want to see?" it asked again. Same words, same color, but they looked wrong now, like they'd been redrawn between blinks by someone who couldn't quite remember what human handwriting was supposed to look like. The font bent slightly, almost slanted toward me, like it was leaning closer. I sat there staring, half expecting a jump scare. Nothing happened. I hovered the mouse over the link. You know how sometimes, when you're reading something late at night, you get this weird feeling that the thing you're looking at is aware of you? That the words aren't just words, they're looking back? That's exactly what it felt like. My skin prickled, and I swear the letters grew a shade darker, as though they liked that I was hesitating. And that's when the pop-up appeared. It didn't fade in, it snapped into existence, like someone opening a door on my screen. A black box with white text, no close button, no X in the corner, nothing. "You are being watched." My heart jumped into my throat. For a second, I thought it was some edgy hacker prank, but then a second line appeared. "Do not look away." I should have slammed the lid shut right there. Should have thrown the laptop across the room. But something about the command froze me. It didn't feel like a warning. It felt like a dare. And then a third line appeared. "It will hurt less if you click now." That's when I realized I wasn't breathing. This is the part where I have to stop and tell you, don't do this. If you ever see something like this, if you ever see a page you can't explain and a message that feels like it's speaking directly to you, don't click. You think you're strong enough to ignore it, but you won't be. Because here's the thing. Once you're in that moment, it doesn't feel like a choice anymore. I tried to back out. My hand was sweating on the trackpad, but I managed to drag the cursor away from the link and toward the corner of the screen. The instant I did, the page glitched. The whole background warped into static and a loud crackling noise filled my headphones, so sharp and sudden that I yanked them off my head. And then the text changed. "You already saw?" My chest went cold. "You already saw?" I looked at the clock. 3:14 a.m. Somehow it felt like hours had passed since I first sat down. Another line appeared under the first. "Now you have to know." The cursor moved on its own. I swear to you, I didn't touch the mouse. But the little arrow glided across the blank screen like someone had taken control of it, hovered over the link, and then just stopped, waiting. And maybe this is the worst part. Deep down, I wanted it to click. Curiosity is a hell of a drug. The more I tried to resist, the more it burned, this awful itch in my brain that told me I'd never sleep again if I didn't find out what was on the other side. I could feel the heat from the laptop on my palms, could hear the faint hum of the fan as though the whole machine was holding its breath with me. And then, before I could stop myself, I tapped the trackpad. The clicks sounded deafening in my room. The screen went black. Not just the page, the whole display, like the laptop had died. I tapped the keys, I shook the mouse. Nothing. Just me, my reflection in the dark screen, and the faint ringing in my ears. Then, slowly, the black shifted. It wasn't a blank screen anymore. It was loading. A single white word appeared in the center. "Welcome." And just like that, the site opened. The site didn't load all at once. It bled in from the edges of the screen, like ink soaking through paper, slow and uneven. First came the background. A gray so pale it looked almost white, but not quite. The kind of gray that makes you think of hospital walls or empty waiting rooms. Then the text appeared, one letter at a time, as though someone were typing it out right then. Welcome. There was nothing else on the page. No navigation bar, no ads, no footer links. Just that word, sitting dead center like an instruction. I hovered my mouse, half expecting another pop-up, but instead the screen glitched and the word vanished, replaced by a menu that looked like something out of the early 2000s. Blocky, uneven text with no real formatting. Home, live feed, archive, about, and under all of that, in a smaller font, almost like an afterthought. Exit, I muttered. Finally, an exit button, and clicked it. Nothing happened. I clicked again, harder this time, like pressing down on a screen harder would make a difference. The page didn't even refresh. The word exit just flickered slightly, as though laughing at me. Cool. Trapped in a website. Great. I didn't know which option to click next, so I just hovered the cursor over live feed. And that's when I noticed something strange. The cursor shadow didn't match the movement of my mouse. It lagged behind, just slightly, as if the site were following me. I clicked anyway. The screen changed instantly, and for a moment I thought I'd been redirected to some kind of CCTV dashboard. There were 9 grainy, black and white video squares arranged in a grid, each one labeled with a string of numbers and letters. The feeds were choppy, low resolution, like security cameras from decades ago, but they were live. The top left feed showed what looked like a stairwell. The second, a narrow kitchen. The third, a child's bedroom with the lights off. My stomach nodded when I saw the 5th one. It was my street. Not a street like mine. Not something that looked vaguely familiar. It was my street. The angle was perfect, like someone had mounted a camera on a telephone pole right outside my apartment. Nope, I said out loud. My voice sounded too loud in the empty room. I grabbed my phone and texted my friend Logan. Me, dude, I think my computer's hacked. Me, some website is streaming my street live. Logan, LOL, what are you watching? Me, not YouTube. Me, sending you screenshot. I snapped a photo of the screen and sent it. He took forever to reply. When he finally did, it was just, Logan, your screen is blank, bro. I stared at the text. No, it's not. I took another picture. Sent that one too. Logan, still blank. Get some sleep, man. I didn't answer. My eyes were glued to the 5th video square. Something had moved. I leaned closer, squinting at the pixelated feed. A shadow crossed the bottom of the frame. Fast, too fast to make out. I tried to refresh the page, but the site didn't reload like a normal page. It just shifted. The layout rearranged itself, and now there was only one feed on the screen. The one showing my street. And this time, it zoomed in. My apartment window filled the frame. I yanked my headphones off. The room felt hot. Too hot. Like I was sitting under a heat lamp. I could feel my pulse in my throat. I whispered, okay. It's just cached footage. Old security cam. It's fine. But then the timestamp in the corner flickered, and when it reappeared, it matched the exact time on my laptop clock. 3:27 a.m. The video froze for a moment, then flashed white and cut to a different view, a close-up of my front door from the hallway. My chair scraped against the floor as I jumped back. That was impossible. There were no cameras in the hallway, none that I'd ever seen. The sound of my own breathing was loud enough to drown out everything else. I clicked archive just to get away from the feed, but that page was worse. It was a scrolling wall of names, thousands of them, listed one after another, in no discernible order. Some were just usernames, others were full legal names, complete with dates. And then I saw one I recognized. My old neighbor, the one who went missing last summer. The date next to his name was the day he disappeared. I scrolled faster, scanning. More names I knew. A classmate from high school. A barista from the coffee shop I used to go to. My stomach turned to ice. At the very bottom of the list was a search bar. I don't know why I did it. I just typed my name. And it popped up. No date. Just blank. The screen flashed again, and a new option appeared under the menu. Final page. I didn't click it. Not yet. Because the instant it appeared, a line of text scrolled across the top of the screen, letter by letter, as if the site were typing to me. Hello, Nurin. My hands froze on the keyboard. That was the moment I realized this site wasn't just showing me things. It wasn't just watching me. It was talking to me. The moment it typed my name, I slammed the laptop shut. The sound echoed through the room, too loud for a space that small, like the air itself flinched. I didn't answer. The site was still scrolling through images, faster now, as if trying to prove something. A new one loaded, a screenshot of my messages with Logan, a text I hadn't sent yet. Me, thanks for coming over. My stomach dropped. And then another line appeared on the site, below the image, in that same slow, taunting typeface. He will not arrive. Logan, I said slowly, don't come over. I wasn't planning to, dude. What's wrong with you? Just stay home. Lock your door. He groaned, annoyed, and hung up. The screen changed again. This time, there was a calendar. Most of the dates were blank, but some were marked with red X's. Past dates. Dates I remembered for the worst possible reasons. Missing person reports, news headlines. That one night last summer when police sirens didn't stop until sunrise. And then I saw my date. Tomorrow's date. The cursor pulsed next to it, like a heartbeat. My desk lamp flickered. Then something outside knocked. Not on the door, on the wall. 3 slow, deliberate knocks, right next to where I was sitting. My chest was so tight I could barely breathe. I whispered, "This can't be real." The site responded, "It is real." And then, as if to drive the point home, the final feed came up. It wasn't my street this time. It was my room. Live. I saw myself sitting there, frozen in front of the screen, bathed in pale light. But the me in the video was smiling. I slammed the laptop shut again, heart hammering. But even with the lid closed, I swore I could still see the glow seeping out from the cracks. I paced the room, trying to convince myself this was just a hallucination, a nightmare, anything. But every time I looked back at the desk, the laptop seemed a little closer to me, as if the screen was leaning forward, waiting. Finally, I stopped. "No," I said out loud. "I'm not running from this." Because if I walked away now, I'd never sleep again. I'd spend the rest of my life wondering what was on that last page. I sat back down, forced my shaking hands to open the laptop, and clicked the option I'd been avoiding all night. Final page. The page didn't load the way the others had. This one took its time, stretching the moment so thin I thought my heart would give out before anything appeared. The screen stayed black for what felt like minutes, until, finally, a single video window appeared. No menu, no text, no way to exit. The feed was dark at first, shapes shifting in a grainy blur. Then the camera adjusted, like something on the other end wanted me to see. There were rows of chairs, dozens of them, lined up in neat, perfect order like a church or a lecture hall. People were sitting in them, motionless. None of them moved, none of them blinked. At first, I thought they were dead. But then the camera panned, slowly, and I saw one of them twitch. Just barely. The image sharpened again, and my stomach dropped. It was me. Not a lookalike. Not someone who just vaguely resembled me. It was me, same shirt I was wearing, same hair, same pale, sleepless face. Sitting there with the others, staring blankly forward. My hands started to shake so hard I could barely keep them on the keyboard. The camera moved again, revealing a screen at the front of the room. It looked exactly like my laptop screen. Exactly like what I was looking at right then. And then I realized, those people weren't watching a screen. They were watching me. A line of text appeared at the bottom of the page. Selection complete. The feed shifted again. Close-ups of faces, one by one. Some I recognized from the archive. People I knew were gone. Others were strangers. And then, without warning, the camera stopped on a woman I'd never seen before. A timestamp appeared under her face. Tomorrow. I didn't even realize I was whispering until I heard my own voice. No. No, no, no. Another line of text appeared. You will sit among them. And that's when I understood. This wasn't just a website. It wasn't just some creepy game. This was a process. A system. It didn't just watch people. It chose them. And once you were chosen, there was no way out. I wanted to look away, but the feed kept pulling me back. It began showing things I can't even describe. Rituals, maybe, or experiments. People walking into dark rooms and never coming out. Faces screaming in total silence. At one point, The camera cut to a view of a man I swear I'd seen in a news article about a missing tech CEO. I can't tell you everything I saw. Not here. Some of it didn't even look human. I scrolled, desperate to find a way to stop it, and that's when I saw the chat box. It hadn't been there before. User_1028, welcome. User_3307, we've been waiting. User_7712, don't fight it. The cursor blinked, waiting for me to reply. I didn't type anything, but somehow a response appeared anyway. Nurin, I understand. No, I said, voice cracking. No, I don't. I don't understand anything. The video feed flashed, showing me again. Only this time I wasn't sitting still anymore. I was smiling, standing, moving toward the screen. The laptop fan whined loudly, like it was overheating. The whole room buzzed with electricity, every light flickering in unison. I snapped the laptop shut, clutching it to my chest like that would somehow keep whatever was inside from getting out. But even through the closed lid, I swear I could still hear the faint clicking of keys. Someone, or something, was still typing. I needed to get out of there. Out of the apartment, away from the screen, before the next part happened. Because if the site was right, if tomorrow was my date, then I didn't have much time left. And I had to find out if it was possible to stop what was coming. Shutting the laptop didn't help. I threw it onto the couch like it was a venomous animal, but my phone buzzed immediately. Once, twice, 3 times in a row. Unknown number. No caller ID. I let it ring out. Then it rang again. On the 3rd call, I picked up, more out of anger than bravery. Hello. Nothing. Just breathing. Not heavy, not threatening, measured. Like whoever it was wanted me to know they were there. I hung up. The screen lit up again with a text notification. You shouldn't have closed it. I dropped the phone. My apartment felt too small, too quiet. I went to the window to get some air, and that's when I saw it. Across the street, under the sickly glow of the streetlight, someone was standing perfectly still. Not moving, not looking at me, just waiting. My chest went tight. I grabbed my phone again and called my friend Nate, the only person I'd told about the site so far. Dude, it's like 3 in the morning. He groaned when he picked up. I need you to check it, I said. The site. Just, please, go to the link I sent you earlier. Tell me what you see. I could hear him clicking, yawning, mumbling to himself. Then, dude, there's nothing here. Just a blank white page. No live stream. No chat. No, just a white screen. Are you sure this is the right link? My mouth went dry. While I was still on the phone, my doorbell rang. I froze. Someone's at my door, I whispered. Nate laughed nervously. Bro, you're freaking yourself out. It's probably a neighbor. But it wasn't. I have one neighbor, and she's out of town. I crept toward the door, phone still pressed to my ear. The bell rang again. This time, I heard a soft knock, slow and deliberate. I pressed my eye to the peephole. No one was there. And yet, there was someone. I could feel it, like standing next to a running engine you can't see. My phone buzzed again. Another message. Open it. I stepped back from the door. Nate was saying something in my ear, but I barely heard him. The knock came again, louder this time, like whoever it was done waiting. I bolted to the couch and flipped open the laptop. Maybe if I went back, maybe if I opened the site again. The screen lit up instantly, no loading this time. The feed was back, showing the same rows of chairs. But now there was one empty seat. And as I watched, a figure walked into frame and sat down. Nate. He didn't look scared. He didn't even look awake. He just sat down, head tilting toward the screen, toward me. The doorbell rang one last time, long and insistent. Then the power in my apartment cut out. The last thing I heard was my phone vibrating on the floor, buzzing again and again, as something started knocking, not at the door this time, but on my window. And then the screen went black. If you're seeing this, it means I managed to get the video uploaded. I don't know how much time I have before they find me, before it finds me, but I need you to hear me while I still can. The site is real, and it doesn't just watch you. It follows you. You've probably already guessed what I'm going to say next, but I'll say it anyway. Do not try to find it. Don't go looking through your history. Don't search for it. Don't ask for links in the comments. The more you think about it, the more it thinks about you. But if you've already seen it, if you've been getting strange calls, or hearing knocking when no one's there. You might already be chosen. That's why I made this recording. I need to know I'm not the only one. Have you ever stumbled onto a page that shouldn't exist? Seen a live stream that felt like it was looking back at you? If you have, tell me in the comments. Write it down. Leave proof. Maybe if enough of us compare notes, we can figure out how this thing works, how to stop it. Because I think that's why it keeps choosing people. To spread. The last time I opened the site, there was a new line of text at the bottom of the page. Just one sentence. Your turn to show them. I think that's what I'm doing now. If this is how it passes itself along, through clicks, through curiosity, then I guess I'm part of it now. So if your screen glitches after this video ends, if your recommended feed starts showing black thumbnails with no titles, don't click them. Please, don't make the same mistake I did. I can hear it now. The knocking. It's not at the door anymore. It's inside. Sudden crash, muffled shout. The recording cuts off. If this video suddenly vanishes, you'll know why. Before that happens, tell me what you think this thing really is. Is it a cult? An experiment? Something worse? Drop your theories in the comments. I'll read as many as I can before it gets to me. And if you want to understand how deep this goes, watch my other uploads. Some of you have spotted clues I didn't even notice until it was too late. Do it now, before the link finds you.